storm show. Ay, it's a storm show.
What is up, Storm Chasers? I have our long-awaited guest, the DL Whisperer. Welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
What's up? I'm doing great. I wish I would have had my ring though. People always forget that I'm married, but whatever.
Wait, you married?
I am. I've been married for going on 4 years.
What? Okay.
Of course, they don't like to talk about that part, but yeah, I am married.
Okay, I love that. Okay, so when people try to say like, "Oh, he got an ulterior motive," you don't, because you already married.
That's right. But the thing is, men still hit me up. They be like, I just know they just assume that I won't expose them. So I still get hit up by DL man every day. So that's why I was telling them, like, even through this whole process, it didn't really change anything. Of course, some people see me as messy, but for the most part, they don't care.
Damn. Okay, so let's hop right on into it, man. You built a profile on TikTok exposing DL men and explaining to women what.
Hold on. Exposing. Did I really expose anybody though? Can we be technical? Can we be technical? Only because I talk about things that are already publicly posted.
Okay.
The only exposing that I can do is from people that I've dealt with. So if men are posting things on the internet, aren't they opening themselves up to be talked about?
Yeah, they're opening themselves up to criticism. Yes.
Thank you. My criticism is just more centered around DL, man. That's why I always tell people, why do you come to my page thinking I'm going to talk about straight men? I'm talking about a specific thing and a specific group of men. So I'm not going to put men that I think are straight on my page. I'm going to put men that are either A, I just know their deal, or B, I just have a strong assumption based off all of the things that I go over daily in my PowerPoint.
Okay. The criticism of DL men. Okay, got it. So you grew a sizable profile on TikTok. Then they shut you down, correct?
They did for 3 weeks. I was gone.
Okay.
But I got it back because I sent them some legal documents. And,
that's what's up. Okay, so we back on TikTok and YouTube as well.
Yeah, and I've been on YouTube. Like, the thing is, people always bring up DL Loverboy, so let's go ahead and get into that because I want to address that.
Okay.
First of all, I've been doing this same thing for years. If you go down my YouTube, you'll see videos from 2022 because when I got attacked, that was kind of like the turning point for me because I had never had any violence like in a relationship. But then that's when I like came to my senses on the whole DL thing because before that, I didn't really see harm in it, but I also didn't like, it was like one of those things where they come out on their own time. Everybody has their own like path. But then once that happened, I kind of had a different outlook on things.
Was that your boyfriend that attacked you?
Yeah. My ex. But let him tell it because this did make it to the internet. Let him tell it. We were nothing, but we talked about marriage. But yeah, it was just like a thing where I was like coming out of being mistreated, and it was just like I'm gonna leave you alone. But he got so paranoid. And see, I didn't really realize like what the paranoia and like repressing things will actually lead to. So it just led to violence.
Damn. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. We're past it.
Damn. Okay. Well, some of these questions are gonna sound remedial, but for the people that's watching, they don't know. So I gotta ask you, right?
Oh no, you're good. Ask anything.
Okay. So what exactly is a DL man, and how do you spot one?
So a DL man is the man that has either A, engaged, B, has desires to engage, or C, because some of them are currently engaging, but it's people or men that have secretly been with men or secretly want to be with men, but they live their life as a heterosexual man. Like, as far as like they're gonna have a wife or they're gonna have a girlfriend. Sometimes they're gonna be single, but if you were to ask them their sexuality, they're gonna tell you that they're straight. They're not going to tell you that they're bi. They're not going to tell you that they're anything but straight. And they're going to do things to show or prove that they're straight, like having kids, just different things, sleeping with a bunch of women or lying about sleeping with a bunch of women. Because when you ask me how do you spot one, that's a loaded question. Like, a lot of people don't really look into my content. Like, what they don't realize is that those minute videos lead you to an hour. Anytime I do my PowerPoint, like we literally have a PowerPoint that we go over. It's the hour long. So that's why I was like, I'm not really expecting people to understand if they're not watching a full entire hour because there are 6 topics that we cover.
Damn. And you know what? And I've watched some of your long in preparation for this, and then even
Yeah.
before I reached out, I watched some of your longer videos. And y'all, Storm Chasers, he ain't lying. Like he really, he break that shit down. Any answer questions. Although sometimes I feel like the questions that they ask, I feel like sometimes the women don't know how to frame the questions, if that makes sense.
But it's and boom, and I'm glad that you brought that up because
Yeah.
see, that's why a lot of the LGBT plus IU whatever I don't the alphabet community. That's why a lot of them are upset because they're internalizing this. But like I always tell them, like these are women, so why would I expect women to know what gay men do? Of course, they're gonna formulate the questions in an ignorant way because ignorance is bliss. Like the lack of knowledge is what ignorance is. So of course they're not knowledgeable on gay community stuff. They're women. So that's why I always tell the gay man, if you stop taking everything so personally and just realize like if you answer the question or if you help them formulate the sentence better, or if you start just teaching them things, you won't feel offended. A lot of them just have had experiences with maybe 1 or 2 women or just women in the past and they've internalized it, just like those DL men, and now they just hate all women. Because a lot
Gosh.
of gay men are just like the other men, which is why you saw everybody's team up against me.
Yeah. Because a lot of people online don't like your ass. I ain't gonna lie, they don't like your ass.
But
But
you
that's
see, they ain't gonna do shit. I mean, and I know I might not can say that, but I'm just saying, like, they don't like me, but I move freely. Like, I hate when people put this narrative, oh, you got ran out of Atlanta or X, Y, and Z. It's like I've been doxxed on the internet like 10 times.
oh damn.
So it's just like, well, like I always tell people, when you Google my name, you're not gonna find anything. Everything is good over here. I live freely. I go to the airports. I go to the malls. I do everything that I want to do
You live
because
your life.
I live my life because I mean, let's just be clear. A lot of these niggas are scary as fuck. So why are they? You think they're gonna pick me? You
That
think they're
part.
gonna pick somebody that's gonna beat their fucking head, and they're not gonna pick me. That's why they're
I
gonna go after women.
I talk about that all the time. It's another dude online that's he's crazy. I ain't gonna bring his name up, but he just got checked and choked by a man that he was fucking with because he kept fucking with him. I tell women all the time, they do that shit to y'all because they feel like they can.
Mm-hmm.
But man on man, you gonna learn real quick. You gonna learn real quick.
Cause I be ready. I invited. Like I literally like anybody that any man that you saw like trying to publicly beef with me, like I'm on all of that. They just don't be wanting to do it. Then they want to start, going to get weapons, and it's just like, so you're scared to get your ass beat. I get it though.
Oh wee, oh wee, oh wee. You know
It's the
what?
facts.
It's a fact though. It's a fact.
Every time
Damn.
you turn around, now they want to get weapons. Oh, I'm not gonna fight. Well, why are you talking? Like I get it though. People made a lot of money off talking about you.
Just yeah.
I
And
get it.
views and clout and yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I wasn't upset. I just hate that people can't read between the lines sometimes. Oops, my phone is
Yeah.
swallowing. I just hate that they can't read between the lines because, like I always tell people, I'm not on the internet to help you think.
Mhm.
I'm just on here to like give you thoughts that you might have not thought, but I'm not here to like guide your whole entire thought process. We got to learn how to critically think on our own.
Woo, that's some people struggle with. Okay, hold on. Before we go down that path, I'm gonna ask you. Damn, I wasn't gonna ask you right away, but I'm gonna go ahead and ask you now. What you think about Duke Dennis?
I just made a video about him because I was so like, he's trying to deflect, like, oh, I was trying to protect my family. Like, sir, how are you trying to protect your family? And these women are saying that you abandoned them and these children. I was just like, people are not seeing that though. They're like making fun of the women because, of course, we live in a time where people like to make fun, especially black women. They're gonna always like take the man's side because black women aren't uplifted in society. They're actually pushed down. That's why even now, with this whole DDG thing and him filing that protective order back on Hallie, like people are taking that and already running with it.
What do okay? So I'm gonna
Because
ask you
just
about.
like Duke, like they find him attractive. They don't care anything that
So
he
do you
does. They're
think
not
Duke
gonna
is
have a.
gay? But do you think Duke is gay?
I'm not gonna say I think he's gay. Do I think that he has a higher possibility of being DL based off the fact that he hang around a bunch of niggas that I think are DL, based off the fact that now we know he had all of these baby mamas, so he created all of these broken homes. He can't love women at that point.
Yeah.
The fact that he tried to humble India Low, because let's be clear on that little streamers university thing, I feel like he gets off on humbling women. So that in itself, because if you see him around men versus around women, who's he more excited around?
They all excited. Well, damn.
And they all hello,
Damn. Yeah.
Deshay, Jay
Kai,
Cinco, dude.
I show speed, dude.
Come
Yeah.
on, like I show speed. Like even when they were in Japan, I was like, what people didn't realize, all of them Japanese niggas were gay. They were into them because they're assuming they got some big black dick. And I'm sorry, I probably can't say that.
No,
But
you
because
good.
think about it, when I Show Speed was in Japan, every time you saw a Japanese man holding a sign, it's I Show Meat because they're sexualizing him. Because like I always say, like in other cultures, masculinity is viewed way differently. So like DDG always pushing women to sell their bodies. Like he can go to Japan and sell himself. I Show Speed can go to Japan. I'm pretty sure they made more money over there than they made in the US.
Is that really what they doing when they go over there?
Okay, so people are paying you to fetishize you. What is that? What is that?
I
What
mean,
is that? I mean, if you're getting paid to be fetishized, I mean that's basically, I don't even know the word for it, but that's ultimately what it is. And like I always tell people, of course I have experience in this. Of course. Not in necessarily going into other countries, but I'm saying like dealing with men of different cultures, like, and they fetishize black men heavily,
well,
especially in cultures like that where there's not a lot of masculinity.
absolutely. And here's the thing: I got a lot of gay friends, and I notice even with them, they're very colorist and texturist. And when it comes to if it's a dude that's like curly head, light skin, brown skin, looks like some kind of exotical, like they will. I've seen them fight over them kind of niggas. Like you, like, and don't let a good example like August Alsina and his boyfriend Zoo. They will fight over a nigga like Zoo.
Yeah.
But when it comes, but then they'll say, "Oh, no darks, no fats, no films." What's up with that in the gay community?
Okay, well, I never heard no darks, but as far as like masculinity in the scope, black men are the epitome of masculinity. So for us, that's how I made so much money. Like I always tell people, like when I was in college, I was the top sugar baby in the US for 3 years. Go to Seeking Arrangements. They having a whole program that I started. Masculinity, like other cultures, that's why I said he can go to Japan, they can go to Japan and sell themselves because they're not even masculine. Like let's really think about it, they're not even masculine, but how people look at melanin in our skin, as long as you're tall, you're dark, you're considered masculine.
True.
That's it. Like, and they went somewhere in Japan, average height. Like, they're considered masculine because they're tall. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's the essence of black men are strong and all of these things. Even the only people that know that all of us aren't like that are other black people. Because, like I always tell people, if I meet a white man or like an Asian man, they're gonna consider me masculine just based off the fact that I'm 6'4" and I'm dark skinned. Like they're gonna consider me like, that's why people consider me like a threat if you don't really know me.
Oh, but no wonder they ain't trying to fight your ass. They ain't gonna fuck with you. They ain't not gonna fuck
But
with you.
see, that comes from, I don't feel like height should be a thing. Like just because I'm 6'4", that I can
But it's
still
a
be.
factor though. But they gonna think twice before they try
But
you
they
though.
shouldn't, because height shouldn't. It's
It
about, do you
shouldn't.
know how to fight?
I know. I hear you, and I agree. However, they gonna think twice before they try your ass. If you was my height,
Yeah.
they might try you.
What's your height?
I'm 5'6". If you
Oh,
were 5'6", they might try you. But 6'4", nah, they gonna see you in person and be like, and keep it
yeah.
moving.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people, like, I be places. I'm sure people have recognized me, like at my job. Cause see, I stopped working because this kind of became too much for my job. But I was
Wow,
like, people recognize me, but nobody. I don't think I've never got tried.
you're not.
Like people always talking about my names. Like I was like, my one of my names used to be Floyd Mayweather's son. That's why I was telling people, like, don't think that I can just talk. But nobody don't want to try it. That's why I was like, here recently, I haven't had to make an example out of nobody because they're scary. They're scared to get beat up. And I get it though. Because it
Can I put
lives
that in the
on.
title? Can I put that in the title, please?
Oh
Deal
yeah, of
with
course.
said y'all scared to get.
They are like they're so scared. That's why every man that I've argued with thus far, at the end of it, they always got to show me a magazine clip, or they always got to talk. Oh, I'm not gonna fight a gay man. Then why are you talking? Because I'm still a man. That's why I was like, they try to diminish me down because I'm a little feminine. But it's like when it come down to it, you're scared to fight because you know if I beat your ass, you're never going to live that down.
You're not gonna let that down. You just made me think of DJ Academics and Saucy Santana when you said that.
Right.
You made me think of that. Yep. Not
Yeah.
that we've seen DJ Academics fight anybody, but
Yeah.
Saucy will beat him the fuck up. We know this. We
Yeah,
know
we
this.
know that.
We
Yeah.
know that. We know that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's why I said I get it. They don't want to have to even go through that. But because I mean
But
you
let me
gotta
ask you this. But why are they resorting to violence just because you guys have a disagreement online? Why can't you guys have a healthy debate and maybe y'all don't see eye to eye, but just leave it at that? If they get red for filth, you just got red for filth. Who cares?
yeah. I think because a lot of men aren't emotionally mature, they act off like impulses and emotion, which is a big thing that I always talk about. And they think that that makes them masculine, but to me, like crashing out, all of that to me that doesn't make you masculine. To me, that women typically being emotional. If you hear men talk about women, they say women are emotional, they don't have any control, but in reality, it's men.
Yeah.
So I'm
Absolutely.
like, they're calling that feminine, but they're calling themselves feminine because they're the ones that are doing it the most.
Absolutely. If you don't
So
have no
to me,
control,
that's
you have
why
no
like
control.
their ego is in a way because like I said, people will take one part of my video and try to twist it instead of just listening to the whole entire video and being a little bit and it goes back to critically thinking. I think a lot of men are undereducated, and I think that they can't critically think. They couldn't even think they were out of a box. That's why they think that all of these little easy ways to make money are actual ways instead of actually doing something meaningful. So I think that plays a part too, because let's just get into it. A lot of these men have been conquered by other men. So just like women, a lot of women don't think that they can get anywhere without going through a man. A lot of these men are just like that. So they're gonna suck dick and eat ass and do all of these other stuff to all of these other men to try to get ahead. And it just never works.
Industry shit. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm finna ask
industry
you right
shit.
away.
Yeah,
What you
yeah.
think about Ray J?
I just talked about Ray J. I think Ray J is weird. I always thought he was weird from the porno thing that he done with Kim, but I think for me, the conversation that he had with Kai sealed the deal.
Yep.
That's still the deal. I was like, he already treated women terribly. His mother, his sister, Sierra Marie, fucking
Wife.
Princess, like
Yep.
all of the women that he's ever dated, Kim K. I mean, think about that sex tape. So
Yep.
I was like, he's always treated women terribly, and I was just like, the call with Kai to me just is still the deal.
Same.
And then you had more information coming out that him and Diddy allegedly, had some dealings, and I was just like, at this point, I can believe it. I can
Yeah.
believe it. Like Ray J, he's weird.
He's weird all day long. All day long. I mean, when he said, I want to shower with you niggas too. I want to sleep with you niggas too.
Like Ray J. That's why I was like, okay, what like did he know? Yeah. I mean, yeah, just weird. But I mean, I don't be shocked though. I think in those industries, like we always talk about, like or the men always talk about they have to do these humiliation rituals. Just like if you see they tried to get Terrence Howard to play Marvin Gaye, and instead of just getting a man that was actually gay, they wanted a straight man to do gay things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like that's how that industry is though. And they do that a lot to black men, especially because they want black men to feel weak or inferior. Even though to me you shouldn't feel weak or inferior because I mean, if you're doing something, that means that you're okay with it. I think people allow what other people think to kind of hold them back.
I agree. I agree. Absolutely. Um, damn. Okay. What you think about ISO Speed?
Um, I don't really think about him. I do think that he has a lot of DO tendencies based off, like I said, the Japan stuff and the fact that it's always some reference to his private area. And I just always be so uncomfortable. And just like Kai and his whole little circle, I was like, they all just seem so and I'm like, maybe I'm just harsh. I don't know, but that's just my opinion because it's just like they're weird. Like it's like defeating each other, the smacking each other on the butts here and there, the sleeping together,
Showering together.
yeah, the showering, the playing gay. Like I always tell women, if a man is willing to play gay, trust me, he'll be gay under the right circumstances. He's not even gonna play like that. A man isn't because, like I always tell them, like, why do people equate a straight man playing gay is he's comfortable in his sexuality? Why would that be him being comfortable in his sexuality to play gay? Like I never understood the correlation. I never understood it because why would you play gay? Why you just can't be yourself? Like you're playing gay because you're actually kind of like living out who you are, but you're just it's a joke. And I know you're gonna because earlier you was like you had this persona, but you're asexual, so
Yeah.
therefore like you don't really have like a sexuality, or your sexuality is just yourself. But
Yeah. It's like,
yeah, because you're playing out a character, so essentially, but the difference is you're not a sexuality. You're kind of just to yourself, whereas
uh,
they're claiming sexualities that aren't really lining up to what they're actually doing, which is where their issue comes into play.
damn, damn. Let me see what else did I have to ask you, because sir, when I tell you, shit, you done answered all my questions already in 20 minutes. Craziest DM you've ever gotten?
I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I really don't read a lot of DMs
Really?
because I always tell people, like I don't watch a lot of content, and I don't like because I don't like to engage in the stuff because I feel like here recently, even when I lost my page, I feel like I lost my page because I started watching what people were saying about me. I don't scroll the For You page. I don't look at other people's content because I like to just stay in my own little world. So I
That's
don't really read DMs unless I see something about business on a DM. I'm probably not gonna click it. Like I don't really, because I don't care about other people's opinions. Like everybody has a different opinion. So if I'm sitting here and a lot of women DM me a bunch of like questions, then I'll just like make a video about it. Because I'm not gonna respond to a bunch of DMs. But like I said, unless it's business, no.
you ain't tripping. Okay,
Yeah.
respect. So let's give some advice for a woman that suspects her man is DL.
Mm-hmm.
What should she do?
I think a woman that suspects her man is DL first. She should not let him know that she has the suspicions. Never it's gonna always be dangerous for a woman to bring up to a man that he's deal. And I say this because a lot of women be like, well, why won't he just admit it to me? And it's like if he can admit it to you, he would admit it to himself and he wouldn't even be DL. So don't expect him to admit it to you. And what I keep trying to get women to realize is that men repress things and then it usually comes out in violence. So if he's repressing these thoughts, because like when I say repressed, like that's why they do these anonymous hookups, or that's why they're meeting up with people that don't know nothing about them, and then they're going on about their way because in their minds they're gonna disassociate from it when it's over with. Once they catch a nut, that's it. They're good. But once women start continuously making them think about it, now they're fighting something. Now they're upset because the thoughts that they're trying to bury and act like never happened, you're making it surface because you're continuously bringing something up. So, like I always tell women, don't go accusing him. And as far as getting proof, that's kind of hard. But I give them tips. Like they need to come to my page for that because it's so long. Like I said, it's the hour. We have a PowerPoint. Like it's a long process.
It is, ladies.
But it's something like I always tell women, you have to do it for yourself. Like you can't go confront a man with that type of information. He's gonna be violent. And I show them the violence that I've, kind of witnessed or been through because I want them to know like it's serious.
Absolutely. Listen, ladies, y'all get in that phone.
And something else, if they suspect that their man is DL, they need to get regularly checked. And possibly, I hate to say it, stop having sex. Don't have if you at this point, if you assume a man is DL, don't have sex with him because like I always tell women, you get the worst end of the stick. You can have a baby, you can get STDs, you can get both. Like it's just like a whole lot of risk for them. So ultimately they gotta protect themselves because A lot of these men are DL. I know everybody, oh, you think everybody is DL. A lot of people are sexually fluid. Like when you hear men talking about piercings, don't they bring up the Africans? But they don't. What they don't bring up is that the Africans thought that especially black people, had two spirits, male and female, and that sexuality wasn't a thing. Everybody was just free to do what they wanted, which is why even now we see this in culture. Like I always tell people, white supremacy and some other things are the reason why sexuality is looked at how it's looked at. And if you really pay attention, even with the LGBT, you see, I don't ever associate with the community because it is not for me. That's why so many black men hate themselves, because they didn't ever see like queer representation. We were taught to hate ourselves. That's why a lot of them repress it and try to be with women. And ultimately they do the women wrong as fuck, because they're in their brains, they can't just go be with a man. That's not accepted. Who set the standards? That's why I always tell people, like, men set these standards and be upset. That's why I was like, when you see men with purses now, wearing lip gloss, all of these piercings, like trying to be the next baddest bitch, I was like, they set standards that if a man was doing that, he was gay. But now they're trying to be like, no, we're just comfortable in our sexuality, so we can't change the standards. Like, y'all set these standards, then now y'all want to be equal to women. But
So
men are the reason why women and men aren't equal. So that's why I was like, how men, listen, I don't give a fuck about men at this point.
Oh my God. Okay. Let me ask you this, because in my head, I'm thinking of all like my super masculine male family members that could never stay faithful to women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and beat up women and just it's that makes me think.
Because I also feel like it's hereditary, but as far as like, are they DL? Because I feel like that's what you're internet physical with a woman, you're DL. You don't love women, and that's why I always say, like, a lot of these men, if you really pay attention to my PowerPoint, after personality, the first thing we get into is their relationship with their mother, because that's where, for a lot of men, that's where this starts, with them hating women. It usually starts with them hating their mother. And then, just like men general, once if a man, if a person, i.e., if somebody do something to a man, like a man gets hurt early on in life, he hates women for the rest of his life. But that really translates over into other things too. Because sometimes men realize, like I always say, a lot of men think, oh, I can't be emotionally connected with a woman, or I can't trust a woman with my emotions. But like I always tell women, like, the difference in lust and love is the emotional connection. So if a man can't emotionally connect with women, he's not gonna love a woman. If he can emotionally connect with men, it's gonna be more likely that he eventually at some point is going to come to the realization that this is who I'm emotionally connecting with. This is who I honestly just really want to be with. Because if you can't think about it, if a man has slept with 100 women, and out of all of these women, you haven't found anybody to emotionally connect with, you don't like women. Like, you mean to tell me, no, out of all of these people, you don't like women? It's not that hard. Like, even sleeping with people without having the emotional connection to begin. That's why I was telling women, if you waited to sleep with a man when you had an emotional connection, you probably wouldn't sleep with a lot of these DL men, because they're never going to give you that connection.
It's a good point. Okay, I'm gonna switch topics quickly.
Okay.
What do you think about Cam Newton?
Cam Newton. Well, of course, you know how I feel about football players. Of course, I feel like that's a whole different industry. But for me, he said too much questionable stuff. He was a football player his whole life. I think that says a lot. Even when he was, notably, let's bring up when he said he goes to the strip club for other men.
For me,
So I was just like,
yeah.
okay, like that to me was just like, they always do a lot of stuff that I talk about. Even just his whole demeanor. Like, I feel like he want to be Basquiat as well, just like Jay-Z. And I know we probably definitely can talk about him, but I just feel like it just, yeah, he just don't give what. And I feel like we would have never knew this had he not got a podcast. When he was a football player, I feel like I view him as masculine, but once he got a podcast and I got to see more of his personality, it was like, yeah.
So what are women to do then? If all these niggas came, what are women to do?
I always tell women, like, a lot of women are starting to just not sleep with men, but I think it's just more about. I think there are straight men out here. I just don't think they're going to be on the internet. That's why I always tell women, stop getting on dating apps. Stop looking at these social media men. Because I do think that a true straight man isn't going to be so much into, like, necessarily what we're doing.
Entertainment, you're right.
Yeah, like, I mean, let's just be clear, like, entertainment.
And
And
that's
then,
gonna draw feminine men just because it's
yeah.
you want to be the center of attention.
Yes,
Yeah,
attention seeking. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like even like people go live or just that's why I was like a lot of women only find men on the internet. Like they have to get back in real life. Like get out, put yourself out there. That's why I always tell them like you gotta if you're working somewhere like network with people or just go to different events. Like if you don't want a man that's always at the club, don't go to the club trying to meet men.
facts.
Like I always tell people, go do things that you're interested in. Like I like sports. I'm gonna always be at sports places. So I didn't meet my husband. I met my husband, you know, at my job. But just I'm just telling people like do things that you like to do and put energy into you and then the people that you need to meet will be there along the way. But when you're searching for stuff and you're not really putting energy into yourself, you're not gonna meet the right man. And that's why a lot of them meet DL men because they're so desperate. And when you're desperate, those type of men can smell that out. Because like I always tell women, you have these men that are literally just throwing reels out to all of these different women. Some women are gonna have enough confidence and enough self-respect to be like, he's not, no, like he ain't got nothing going on. I'm not giving him a chance. But you're gonna have some women that are gonna be desperate or man-censored that all he gotta do is look a certain way and he's gonna get everything that they have.
Shit, that's a lot of these niggas on Instagram.
That's why I say you got to get off the internet. Like, think about it.
Yeah, that's
Again, you have to get off the internet. Like, I think to even do what we're doing, I don't think no straight man is gonna just want to be up in front of a camera interacting. Like all of these men sitting in the car together. Why is it 5 men sitting on the bed? It would be no reason. Like, why do
all
five
hunched up in the
men?
car, all hunched up in the bed, all hunched
Uh,
up in the hotel
And it's
room.
always men. It's never, and then they're rating women. Like, what men? And they be so old. Like, why? And not even age, but it's just like at a certain age, I've never been into the whole rating people, but it's like, are we 18? Why are you a 30-year-old man rating 18-year-old women?
Bro, they be 40 plus.
And I mean, I wanted to say that, but I'm like, I don't want to
They,
just, but and
they
to
be
me,
40
that
plus.
just shows you don't get women. So at that point, you're desperate, you're thirsty. And I think when a man is desperate and thirsty, he's gonna go for anything. That's why you have those men that be like, "Oh, I don't turn down nothing." Right? You don't turn down anything, whether it's the man, or woman, or whatever. They're gonna hit whatever they because a lot of men. That's why I tell women they don't realize men can only have sex with women that allow them. Women have way more options than men. It because the standards for women, first of all, most women you have to be 6 foot. So a
Yep.
lot of men are already eliminated.
Off rip. Off rip. True.
So I'd be like, women don't realize how much power they have. That's why there's a lot of things like OnlyFans and other things where men have to pay for it because they can't get women. Because imagine you mean to tell me you can't get a woman to the point that you have to pay somebody to sleep with you. But women don't realize that though. So that's why I always tell them like, just hold the sex. That's out there. Most men only see women as sexual objects. Like, and let's just go into this real quick because Cooking with Kaya recently said that a man or somebody told her to get on OnlyFans, she would make $2 million probably in the first day. I know that DDG told her that. But I
Wow.
was like, even with Ruby, like, if you see, he pushed all of these women to sell their stuff because if he could have a pussy and be a woman, he would be selling it. He would be selling it. And these are the type of men that the women are going after, like, oh, he's so sweet. No man that's so sweet is gonna push you to sell your body. He's
That
gonna
part.
push you to respect yourself because he
That part.
respects you. But he doesn't respect women, so of course he's gonna push them to do all of these harsh things. And that's why I always say, like, black men don't even realize that the white supremacy that they're always think they're fighting, they're literally feeding into it. Like they're always saying, "Oh, the CIA sent me," and it's like y'all are doing the shit that the CIA actually set up for you. Like I'm highly educated. You know, I actually help minorities. I actually do things. Like, people think I just sit on social media, but that's just to go back to like black men and their character, because I want to specifically just say black men and just men in general, because I think black men set the tone, and I think a lot of men follow what we're doing.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Let me let you talk about that, your community work. Tell the
Yeah.
people that there's more to you than just this. Let you get into that.
Yeah. So before I just finished with my job, I worked in financial aid for almost 10 years, 9.5 years.
Oh,
So pretty much with me, like I help minorities, because that's usually who's getting financial aid, but just completing the FAFSA and getting through that whole process, because that's what keeps a lot of people from, being able to progress. Because for me, I've always been kind of like pushing that whole education thing, because I feel like that's why a lot of people are ignorant. They don't have knowledge. And it's like our ancestors and people before us, because when I say ancestors, like I'm saying like when we integrated 75 years ago, people had to fight for us to be educated. And now people want to be entertainers and in these fields where it's so slim to none that they will ever be there, that it's ridiculous.
it's a
And they
fact.
just they're just chasing something. So for me, I always say like a lot of these men have been conquered by men, because they're chasing after something that's not obtainable. They're chasing after money that isn't even real. Money isn't even backed by anything anymore. So that's why I always tell people, like, you're literally chasing something that's non-existent. Like, they gave you this dream to chase to keep you distracted from the truth. So I just help people get to the truth, which is through helping educate them, because that's my part. Like, I'm in finance. I have a BA, I have an MBA. I'm gonna eventually have a DBA once I get done with that. So for me, I help people in that scheme, or whether they're doing taxes. I used to do grant writing. I worked for Emory University for a little bit. So that's one of the top research university hospitals in the world. So
Sir. Yes,
when it
sir.
comes to managing money, like I was managing billions of dollars, or helping to manage. So I help people as far as the business and just finances, because for me, growing up in like a small town and kind of coming from a place where that wasn't taught, I knew about credit. Like, that's the only thing. Keep your credit good, pay your bills on time. But as far as like
Great.
financial freedom and investing in portfolios and 401k, like I had to figure all of that out. And I just wanted to help other people, because I do feel like, especially in the black community, that's something that we don't have a lot of. Like, people don't know financial literacy. That's why you see them on here. They wear their money, or you'll see
Mm-hmm.
them with chains, and it's just like, listen, that's not me. I don't care about that, because I've had all of that stuff and I lost it all. So I
Do,
learned early that
do you
it
know how
doesn't
bad
matter
I
how
get talked about because I wear Walmart and Target clothes? Do you know how bad I get talked? And like I tell them, when I can afford that other shit, then I'll get that shit. In the
yeah.
meantime,
But
Target,
it's
Walmart gonna
yeah.
be me.
But even, I mean, I could afford it. I don't even think it's about affording it. It's just about they're only wearing it to have a certain aesthetic or to please other people. Like, why would you spend all of that money? Half of them, why not be investing in houses, or investing in something like precious minerals, or things where if all of that stuff, if everything was to shut down today, those designer clothes aren't gonna get them anywhere.
That's a fact.
So I think that a lot of them are just worried about their own things, which is okay, because that's what the media is here for. It's here to, like I just said, sell a dream to people, because it keeps them in this constant state of mind where they think, again, something is obtainable. How are you going to be a professional athlete, and it's literally only so many like slots anyways, so you already got to be above average, or the best out of everybody. It's like, no, you need to focus on a different career. Like, you're probably not going to be a professional athlete. Go be a doctor.
I say all the time, we need doctors, we need lawyers, we need plumbers,
Yes.
we need truck drivers, we need
Yes.
and let me say this, and you already know, in this entertainment shit, this money come and fucking go.
It's
Okay,
coming.
a lot of people y'all think got it, they don't have it.
They don't have it.
They don't have it,
They
or
don't.
they get shit for free, or they don't pay their fucking invoices. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I know y'all talk shit. I'm not talking about you, but I know y'all talk
Yeah, I
shit
know what you're saying.
on the
Yeah.
truck drivers and the this and the that. We need that.
We
Because
need
guess
that.
what? Push come to shove, Storm gonna go get Storm gonna do what he gotta do. Fuck what y'all talking about.
Yes, they used to job shame me. At one point, I was working 2.5 jobs, and oh, you're so broke. It's like, baby, I was making $100,000 a year between my two jobs, which for me, I'm 27. Like people don't even. That's why I say like even just to kind of bring this up because I feel like this is also something that I like to help the community with. I'm not a lawyer yet, but I do plan to eventually become a lawyer because I've sued some companies as well that have discriminated against me, and I always feel like us as the community we don't know a lot of things. Like my first two degrees are in business and accounting, so I know all of like the HR laws and all of that. So I feel like I just help educate people on whatever I feel like is important in the moment. Like for me here recently, I came back to TikTok. A lot of women were asking me about the DL thing, so I was like, let me give it another chance because I've had almost 10 TikTok pages. They
Damn,
always take them.
damn.
So I was like, this is my last attempt. But now I'm on YouTube, so it's like, okay, I have a different place. Like on YouTube, they're not gonna take my YouTube for simply making a video. They're
Nah.
not gonna say I'm bullying somebody or because I get a lot of all of my videos always get reported for bullying. So I get
Yeah,
that a
you're
lot.
not bullying. Nah, I've seen some shit
I
where
know
people
I'm
report.
literally doing everything. I'm just talking about shit that I'm like everybody's talking. Like I said, my opinion is gonna differ from other people's. Like I'm talking about a specific thing.
And you know what? And you said it earlier, but I've always said this since I've been doing this shit like 6 years now. If you don't like my page, why are you watching it?
Yeah.
It's so many people you can watch. Like people will watch your shit just to get angry, and I can't believe you're saying this, but you're over here.
Yeah. And I think I don't even think that they're angry at you. Like I always tell people, because even on my page, I have to tell the women, like, if you agree with everything I say, I'm gonna have a problem with you. Because I don't need yes people. I need people that can formulate their own opinions. Because some of
Yes,
them, when they disagree with me, they're like, I don't agree with you. And it's like they want to argue, and it's like, listen, it's okay. We're supposed to not agree on everything.
that's
I'm
okay,
like, I'm like, I need you to not like some stuff. I need you to be like, you know what? I don't agree. Like
and that's
that's
okay.
fine. Yeah, I'm like, that's okay. I need that because I'm like, if y'all are always agreeing, I don't know if this is actually helping or like cause like some like in the very beginning, I had to break women out of the whole everything is deal or just because of something didn't work out with a man. That's why I was like, people don't even pay attention to the fact that half of the time I'm telling women like, okay, he might not like you. It may be you because it's not always the man is deal. I was like, people think that I think every man is the. I was like half of the time, women, even when in my services, women might pay me, and I still might come to the conclusion I don't think your man is DL, and we move on. Like it is what it is. That's why I was like, I don't think every man is DL. My page would be full of more videos. I was like, do people not really look at my page? It's only to me a handful of men faces that you're gonna see, and there are people that are streaming. Why would a streamer be upset that I'm talking about him? He's literally streaming his whole life to be talked about.
Period. Period.
Just
I
like
mean,
me being upset. That's why I was telling people I'm not mad that you're making videos. Now, when you start doxing me and
yes.
taking stuff far, yes, I'm gonna get a little upset because, like I said, it's never been that serious.
I got upset when people just started making up shit on me, and I was just like drag me, whatever. But like,
Yeah,
you know, you lying, or some people be like,
yeah,
oh, we fucked. I don't
yeah,
know who you are,
yeah,
like, so
yeah.
just
I,
don't
yeah,
do
I never I always laugh at that because my friends will call me because like I said, I don't scroll. They was like some of my friends was seeing stuff at different times. They just like these people because people, oh, he 5'7", he lives here. Like they had everything wrong. And my friends just like where are they getting this information? I'm just like, I don't know. But to me it's funny because again, I move freely. Like
period.
I move very freely. So I don't care. Cause like I said, I know once you start getting to a certain level, and in college I had TV shows that were centered around me. So I feel like people don't realize like I'm not new to this
Yeah, I
at
knew
all.
this. You sure to this? Okay.
Yeah, like I'm not new to this. Like I've been getting talked about for a while. Like anytime you're signing up to be on a platform or you're sharing your life, you're gonna get talked about. And even in college, like I was dating athletes and different things. So of course I was already gonna get talked about. So that's why I was like, it's not really. It doesn't bother me when people talk about me because I know who I am.
I love that. I love that. Let me say this: who I perceived you as versus now after speaking with you is different, and I am pleasantly surprised.
But who did you perceive? I never understand, and I think it's because people see a couple of seconds of me versus watching a whole hour. I can't tell you if your man is DL in 15 seconds. If
Yeah.
it was that easy, it would be already over. My page wouldn't be full of videos. Like that's what I always tell people. Like your perception is always going to be wrong if you only watch those little clips that you see online because I'm real raw. So like you're gonna see if me and a man was arguing, like you're gonna see me be wrong sometimes. You're gonna see other people be wrong. Like I don't hide anything. So that's why I always tell people like you're gonna have different emotions about me because sometimes I do be in the wrong. I don't care though. I done it. I'm gonna stand on it. Sometimes I don't be in the wrong. It is what it is. Like come to your own opinion. I don't care. Like I'm putting it out there because I get messages all the time from people and they're learning things from my content. So that's what this is really about.
And the people fuck with you. And when I tell you people were requesting you, I'm not saying that just because you on a
Yeah.
camera. No, they were requesting you, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I follow him. Oh my god, yeah, I love him." Some people was like, "I can't stand him," but they still
Yeah.
know who you were. They still know who you are. So I was like, I thank you
Yeah.
for coming on. Before you go,
No
I'm gonna
problem.
just a few quick questions. Top 3 DL professions.
Top 3 DO professions. Okay, so heavy, and I mean we're gonna go categories. Fraternity. Well, I guess fraternities is a profession. Sports,
Mm-hmm.
especially professional sports, professional athletes. Mm, I mean, because when I say CEOs, people don't date a lot of CEOs, but CEOs, because I mean, I always go like you got higher end, and you got the lower end, like the warehouses. Like, so if I had to give it like a mixture, professional sports, warehouse workers, and for the last one, anything male dominated. Like I always tell people, like DLness runs in male dominated thing because of patriarchy and because things male dominated structures always have a hierarchy. So for a man to get to the top, he has to conquer other men. It's gay to have to conquer other men because what are you gonna have to do to make a man submit to you?
Ooh.
That's what I always tell people. Like I don't think they know how that works. And even with dominance, like most men feel like ultimately that's why I say like women they don't really. Most men want to dominate another man because they feel like that's gonna give them that ultimate like dominance. Because women, a lot of men don't feel like women are even like they already conquered that. So yeah, that's so anything male dominated essentially.
When I tell you I appreciate you coming on, this was fun. They probably gonna ask for you to come back.
Oh,
Um,
thank you for having me.
but
I
before we,
appreciate you for having me.
of course, and my thing is, when I reach out to people, I be like, I hope they think I ain't on no messy shit. I really just want to like bring you on because
Yeah,
a lot of people talk about this shit, but they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know how to articulate the thing. They don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
I agree, and I appreciate it. Like I said, and I'm glad that we were able to have a conversation. You were saying you had one more question.
oh shit, yeah, I got a section of questions actually. Okay, I'm gonna go through them real quick. All right, if a man always want to go in your butt, is that gay?
I
Oh,
think
in
that
a woman's butt, in a woman's butt.
yeah, right. Like I always tell women that is the gateway because where did he learn it? Like I always say, that it's the gateway. If he didn't already learn that from being with the man, it's the gateway because most women aren't just wanting anal. Like they have a vagina. Why would they just? Why would they? A lot of women that I know that are actually like straight, not DL women. They don't do anal. They don't want their ass ate, and they damn sure don't want anything in there. So that's my opinion. I don't think I know straight men that they're not doing anything anally. Like they're only into vagina. I feel like men, to me, that's giving by because now we're getting into everybody has an asshole.
Just
So
like everybody has a mouth. If he always just want
right.
head, somebody, and that's all he want.
Thank you. Thank
Or
you.
if
Thank you.
he,
Thank you.
I always feel like if he's quick to turn you over,
Yeah.
like Why you don't want to look her in the face? Why you don't?
That's why I always say back shots and fellatio are the top two things. Like always, and people be like, well, all men love back shots and fellatio, but it's like, okay, when I say only, it's like he's not gonna get hard in missionary. He's not gonna get hard when you're riding him. He's only gonna get hard when he's hitting you from the back and your face is down and all he sees is the butt. Because like I always tell people, women be like, well, our back has more arch. I'm like, have you ever seen some men arch? Like everybody has the arch. So you being face down and ass up is not like women look so distinctive from the back. They're like, well, I look like a woman. It's the difference. It's like, no, like look at a man bent over and look at a woman bent over. It's just the ass.
If he won't ask, he won't ask.
He won't ask, he won't ask. That's why I was like, and it'll be an emphasis on fellatio, but like I say in my video, they won't eat pussy. And I know that's vulgar, but they're not
No,
gonna
you
eat
good. You
vagina.
good. You good.
Yeah, they're not gonna like reciprocate. They're just gonna want you to get them fellatio. So that's why I say those are the biggest too, because a lot of DL men that I know, they're not gonna be wanting to, at least with women anyways, they're not gonna want to do all of those extra things, or even with some men. Like typically their goal is to dehumanize anybody that they're with. So, that's why I always tell women like they don't treat men any better. I think how you get treated better in general is building that emotional connection. Because even when I was dealing with DL, man, and this is what people hated, because I'm always gonna be real. I wasn't getting mistreated. Like, did I get attacked? I did, but as far as being mistreated, it wasn't really given that, because for me, like what people don't even realize, the first DL man that I ever messed with, the athlete, we waited a year before we even had sex.
Really?
So, like I told people, like
Oh,
I forced him to get to know me. Like, of course, for in the beginning, he probably thought, okay, he gonna give in, but it's like I didn't give in, and of course, after a year, it's like now we really been getting to know each other. So now you look at the situation a lot differently. So that's why I always say, just don't have sex with them, because a lot of men, because they feel like when they make an attempt, if they don't close it out, they don't like to leave things unfinished. So then you kind of like you're essentially manipulating them into doing what's right. Or they're gonna leave, because like I always tell them, some men will just stop fucking with you.
and
That's
that's even
easier
better.
though.
You got rid
I was
of
about
him.
to say that's even better, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, either they're gonna be forced to get to know you, or they're gonna walk out of your life. And it's one of the two.
Speaking of that, I never understood that thought process. Oh, I'm gonna lose him if I don't give it to him. That's you want to get rid of the other fuck niggas. That's what you
That's
want.
all I was about to say. That's all he want. Yeah. So I think women
Bro.
are starting to, starting to think differently, and that's why I was like, I know my content is helping, because a lot of women, they listen to the wrong men. Essentially, I don't, like I always tell women, I don't have no reason to get on here with any other motives at all. Like I even my services, women ask me to start services. They price the services. Even now they tell me to raise the price, and it's like, even with the information, they're like, get on Patreon. It's like, I don't want information to be behind the paywall.
Gotcha.
Information is supposed to be free. So that's why I always tell people, like, it had nothing to do with that. Like, I wasn't in another thing, because I just want to say this, like, I wasn't even monetized on social media until after I lost my page. Like,
Really?
the week that I got that they took my page was the week
Yeah.
that I got monetized. So that's why I was telling people, like, I hadn't even been monetized that whole time, because I didn't even know how it worked. Even on YouTube, like when I met the requirements, I didn't know you had to go add all of this stuff. So that's why I was
Yeah.
telling people,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I didn't know any of this. So it was never about money, because I don't be on social media alone. People usually report me, or they don't run me off, but if all of my accounts get deleted, what am I gonna do?
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, so that's why I was saying, like, this is the longest consistently that I've been on social media without losing my account. And I still lost the other one, but you get what I'm saying. Like the
Yeah.
YouTube, I don't think I'm gonna lose this, because it's more free to be able to say stuff. Like free speech is the thing, because that's why I had to go out to TikTok. Because it's like, okay, so we're gonna violate my civil liberties. Because like I always tell people, these are jobs. Like we get tax documents. So therefore, like if you want to treat it like a job, we have certain employment laws that we're gonna, talk about. Because everybody like, how did you get your page back? Because I knew what to do. Yeah.
Period. You know what? Tell the people, Deal Whisper, where they can find you.
So I am on every platform as the Whisper. Is literally, like I always tell people, anywhere you want to find me, Dio, just type in Dio Whisper. I'm gonna be there. Twitch, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, X. I'm literally on every platform. Dio Whisper, and if I'm not on there, I probably will be there sometime. But mostly YouTube, because I'm trying to just bring everybody, because all of that free information, because that's the thing I want people to understand. The information is free. It's gonna be on YouTube. YouTube doesn't have as many restrictions, so I can kind of, give out the information without it being deleted.
YouTube, yep, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
You're doing right. You're doing right. Thank you, man, for joining. I appreciate
No problem. Thank you for having me.
I'm gonna play this outro here. You can stay on you one sec.
It's Storm Show. Ay, it's Storm Show.